Hey there folks, this is GreenyXI, welcoming you right back to Let's Play Higurashi. This is episode 174. In the last episode, we had quite a bit going on actually. We had the death of Satoko and Satoshi's aunt via bat. Swinging a hit. We had the teddy bear boat, and Satoshi went into level 5 terminal symptoms of Hinamizawa syndrome, and that's where it ended on their part. And then we moved on over to Mayabara moving here and his dad getting lost and being the ditzy artist that he sort of is. So what we're going to do today, I want to see what does happen next. We haven't had that, so I'm just going to try a couple of them and randomly pick, because I don't know if they've actually been completed yet. If I've missed like a little bit of subtlety in some of the stories. You never know. Rikufuda's high fever, we definitely haven't had that, so that's okay. This one, maybe? I don't think we've had the promise from Jiro. Tomataki even. None of them left, that's good. Revenge of Miyo, I don't know if we got revenge. We've definitely had Mayabara changing school, so maybe. Nope. Okey-doke. I don't have a clue where we're heading to next time. Raw sea urchin and vitamin A. Big teddy bear. We got teddy bear, but I don't know about the first one. We'll try it. Nope. Blimey. I mean, does it mean game board must be set up as in everyone's moved here? I don't know. So we're going to have to try every one of them, I think. Oh, I am. I'm a bit unsure. Kakushi. Keep trying, keep trying. There might be one on the 7th page which is really obvious and I'm just being stupid and clicking all these, but soon find out, I guess. Okay, fragment from Tataragoshi. Tataragoshi. 7 fragments are required. No, so it's one of the earlier ones that I've just not really noticed. What about that one? I've never clicked that one. Tomataki's slight fever? Oh, do it. Rika had a big fever, did she? I can't even remember. Okay. Takano-san always comes along with me whenever I go to take pictures on a stroll. Oh, I was back to these. She went to discover the joy of cameras, and I'm happy to gain a friend who shares the same hobby. However, there's actually something else she's much more interested in. That would be the history of Hinamizawa. She frequently visited libraries and local archives to read through various documents and books. When it comes to Hinamizawa, she's gained quite extensive knowledge of the local history. When she's in a good mood, she tells me about things like how Hinamizawa used to be called Onakafuchi village, how the villagers there used to perform various cruel ceremonies based around the worship of Oyashiro-sama. It seems she loved tales of violence, and that actually gave her a mysterious charm. On the other hand, I don't do well with grotesque things, so I can hardly say anything in response. The stories of cruel ceremonies that she gets excited about, I don't really get them all that well. However, with the way her eyes light up when she talks, I don't mind spending time with her, even if I have to hear about cruel things. You sure look like something... Sure like looking into that stuff, don't you? I got it. Sure, it's fun. It's thrilling to unravel a dark past that has been sealed away, don't you think so? Takano-san smiled in a way that almost made it sound like a dark past is something fun. But of course it isn't. The dark history of Hinamizawa that she loves is something cruel and atrocious, like the witch hunts in the Middle Ages. Besides, they help me in researching Hinamizawa syndrome. You don't have to always look through microscopes to research things. Sometimes the traditions of this village that have spent so long with the parasite can teach us things that are far more valuable. That's true. Boy, you sure are passionate about this. Boy, oh boy. That's because research gives my life meaning. To step into the unknown and to uncover a secret that nobody else knows. Don't you think that's wonderful? It tickles my intellectual curiosity. That's probably the greatest entertainment available to humans who can feel joy just from thinking. The first person to work on this, Dr. Takano, must have discovered something fascinating enough to make him devote his entire life to his researching of the syndrome too. I think I'm probably the only one who can understand these things, his feelings. I suppose it would be too difficult for you, Jiro-san, since you're not a researcher. She always seems so enthusiastic every time she talks about the late Dr. Takano, an independent researcher who was the first person to discover the existence of the syndrome. There has to be something more there than just her admiration as a researcher. So, Tomataki doesn't know that that's her grandfather? Maybe? Come to think of it. Or that he doesn't know she was saved by him. Probably that. Come to think of it, Dr. Takano's full name was Hifumi Takano. Takano-san's full name is Miyo Takano. Not only are their last names pronounced the same, but the first names follow a similar pattern. They must be connected somehow. I don't know anything about Takano-san's personal history, but there's a good chance that her name is an alias. So maybe he doesn't know, I get. So it's very possible she chose a name to reflect the researcher she admires. I see. So is that why you chose that name? What? Well, the name of the researcher you look up to is Hifumi Takano, right? And your name is Miyo. In Japanese, it's like you're counting upwards. You're continuing the research he wasn't able to complete. So I thought maybe that's why you have that name. Who told you that? No, I just thought of that now. I didn't hear it from anybody. You're correct. I'm surprised you figured it out since you're so dense. I know you admire Dr. Takano, and sometimes you've spoken as if you were his daughter or granddaughter who inherited his research legitimately. My words. That's why I said that. Even authors like Ranpo Idegawa use their pen names as homages towards authors they admired as well. Is that a real author in Japan? So I thought maybe the name you use is like your pen name, you know? No, that's not so. Miyo Takano's my real name. You write my family name differently though. Eh? Then it really is the exact same family name as Dr. Takano? That's even more of a surprise. And Miyo is your real name too. Miyo Takano, continuing Hifumi Takano's life's work. What a fateful coincidence. You're overstating it, Jiro-san. This isn't fate of any kind. He's my grandfather. There we go. What? This is news to me. I heard Takano-san discovered documents about the Hinamazawa syndrome left by Dr. Takano after his death and decided to continue his research. I've never heard of them being related before. Someone told me it'd leave a bad impression if I asked for money to continue my grandfather's research, that people may think I'm trying to pull funds from a family matter. That's why I changed one of the characters in my last name. So other than Uncle Koizumi, you're the first person I've told this to. I see. I didn't know. So that's why you're so passionate about all this. I understand very clearly now. She really did inherit the work your grandfather was unable to complete. My grandfather researched Hinamazawa syndrome not only from a medical point of view, but through old documents and literature as well. Looking through the old stories of the village that has been living with the syndrome for hundreds of years can be far more valuable than looking through microscopes that magnify things hundreds of times. My grandfather taught me that. I see. I'm sure your grandfather is happy that you're finishing the work he couldn't. I bet he's really proud of you. I hope so. I said something Takano-san would normally tease me about, but she didn't. She nodded and smiled. There's no mistake. She is indeed the granddaughter of Dr. Takano. My grandfather is Hifumi, which means 1, 2, 3. I'm Miyo, which means 3, 4. Following after my grandfather, we've only counted the 3 together, and counted the 4 after my grandfather. We must reach the 5 that neither me nor my grandfather has seen yet. That's my duty, and the reason I was born. So that's why your name is Miyo, huh? I think that's a beautiful name. Thank you. But please keep the granddaughter issue to yourself. My clients don't even know, and I don't want any unnecessary problems from them finding out about it. Ah, sure. Okay. It's the secret between you and me, huh? Although it's only a small secret, it feels good to think that I'm the only one who knows about it. I've only counted to 3. I haven't even reached 4 yet. The path before me is long and rough, but I'll do it. I'll expose the secrets of Hinamazawa syndrome. I'll support you. That's my job in the first place, isn't it? Jeez, you'd sound pretty cool if you didn't tack on things like that. You only needed to say that you'll support me, you know? Okay, I'll support you. It's too late. You're not cool if you can't get it right the first time. Bitch. We laughed cheerfully together. And after we finished laughing, she became serious again and spoke as if to drive the point home. So remember, Jiro-san, don't tell anybody that I'm his granddaughter, okay? Okay, I promise. It's not a bad thing, but I don't want the clients to cut our funding because of that. I don't think they will. Besides, I won't tell a soul. Are you sure? Are you really, really sure? This research is the entire purpose of my life. My mission is to complete my grandfather's work, to prove that his trampled research is actually something amazing that will shock the world, and to make everyone praise my grandfather who is perishing away under the earth, eventually having him ascend as a god. That's the meaning and purpose of my life. Jiro-san, if you say something that creates problems for my research, don't worry, I'll forget everything you told me here. Really, I mean it. I won't say anything. I promise. I won't say anything. Are you sure, Jiro-san? I sensed something frightening within her for a moment. Afraid that she would end up possessed by it, I swore to keep the promise. her intellectual curiosity as a researcher, and her conviction to complete her grandfather's work are what stirs her passion for researching Hinamazawa syndrome. I think there's one more reason, but it's far too deep, and it's within a wound in her heart that someone like me should never touch. But earlier, she said, if you create problems for my research. I wonder what she wanted to say after that. I can't help thinking she wanted to say something terrifyingly merciless. I kept my promise with her, and we never talked about the issue again after that. Oh crap. Poor Takano. Tomitaki. I was scared those two names mixed up a bit. Anyway. What does that reveal for us? I can't remember anything being said. Completion of the medicine. Death of Koizumi. No, nothing on the first two. I'm gonna try these two just in case. No, I didn't think I'd seen anything of him dying. Completion of the medicine. No, I didn't think I'd seen anything of that either, but I just want to try. Draft emergency the promise. There we go, we can go for this one now. Because Tomitaki promised he wouldn't tell anyone. It happened so suddenly. Uncle Koizumi passed away. There we go! We can go straight for that next. I never heard he was ill or wasn't feeling well. His chest started to hurt suddenly, and he couldn't sleep. He called an ambulance for the first time in his life because he didn't think he could endure the pain. He was taken into emergency care, but he didn't live to see morning. It was an acute myocardial infection? I don't know. But maybe it was the best possible way to go. Instead of being in bed for many years, slowly dilapidating and withering away, he was healthy until his death, so I think he must have lived a wonderful life. I guess that's a good thing. I mean, I think I would want to keep living for as long as possible regardless of how bad my life quality is, but you can't really say that, until you're close to the point, I don't think. That's kind of a morbid thing to be talking about anyway. But still, it was too sudden. I wish I had called him Uncle more. It's too late though. Uncle Koizumi would never smile at me again with his wrinkly old face, no matter how many times I called for him. He was my guardian until now. He always looked after me, making sure my efforts received proper recognition. Maybe he only did that because he couldn't help my grandfather when he was alive, but still, he was an important person to me. He wasn't just my political backing. But I didn't realise that when he was alive. I only thought he was using his power for my own agenda. But after he died, I realised Uncle Koizumi was my grandpa too. He provided the warmth and protection that I longed for from my own grandfather. At his funeral, I shed tears that I thought that I had forgot how to. Uncle, thank you for everything. I should have called you Uncle more, huh? Oh. No matter how many times I called to him, he would never reply. What I can do for him at this point is complete my research. I must accomplish my goal for his sake. When my grandfather's research is finally acknowledged, Uncle Koizumi's name will be known once again for being the sole supporter of his endeavour. I believe that's the best way to repay him for everything he's done. I vow to devote myself to my work even more from this day on, but unfortunately, hardships and sadness tend to come together. It was like the tailwind that blew steadily until today suddenly became a headwind. The winds shifted far too suddenly, so strong, so cold, so sad. What? What are you talking about, Ju-san? Well, you know that Koizumi-sensei was the main political sponsor for the Area Institute, right? He had trouble getting approval from the related agencies, but Koizumi-sensei used his political weight to force it through. After all, he was one of the key figures in the post-war restoration, accomplishing tremendous deeds in the medical industry. He held a huge influence in politics and industry. So now that Koizumi-sensei is gone, the way he did things won't work any longer? So far it's only a rumour, so I don't know for sure. But I heard they're going to reconsider the budget allocated for the project. You saying the Area Institute will be closed down? No, I haven't heard anything about them reconsidering the institute. But since Koizumi-sensei's death, the rumours say that there's a great deal of confusion among the old guard and their factions, as well as the civil strife within the party around finding his successor. It seems the opposing factions are gaining an influence in the human resources of our client, so they may begin to dig deep into the holy treasure chest that the Koizumi faction held to fund their project. Of course, this is all too complicated for me to explain that well. And besides, these might just be rumours. Ju-san kept saying they were rumours, but that told me the wind's direction has changed. Or maybe Ju-san already knows everything and simply trying to warn me about it. And then, at our next routine audit, Ju-san made it clear with his own mouth. High-ranking government officials who had never came here before attended the routine audit along with Ju-san. Just by seeing those faces, I can tell the turning point is approaching. As you know, the Alphabet Project was created to strengthen post-war Japan's presence in the world with the view of developing deterrent weaponry. However, the 21st century is now just around the corner. In this day and age, we must put the past behind us and start looking forward to a new world. He meant exactly what he said. Japan's already put the past behind, and is cutting off its ties to the ghosts that wish to resurrect the militaristic might of the pre-war era. It's been 40 years since the end of the war, and we've contributed to the world in various peaceful ways. We have a strong alliance with the United States, and our nation has established its position in world affairs well enough. We have kept our promise to forever renounce war and nuclear weapons, and we are known as the nation of peace. In this coming century, our presence and influence will grow even larger. The Alphabet Project, the main sponsor of the Area Institute, are a group of people who want to develop a weapon that would act as a deterrent to the nuclear weapons which Japan is forbidden to own. So they've come to the Area Institute, one of its branch organisations, to tell us that Japan has now renounced nuclear arms. So the Area Institute will be facing a strong, cold headwind from now on. The roll of the die that came up with 1 on that stormy day has reappeared. I won't let the result of a die affect me. The power of my will won't be beaten by some god's roll of the dice. Therefore, we are going to restructure the Alphabet Project to one that's more suitable for the day and age. This new Alphabet Project will be tasked with figuring out the best way for this country to achieve a larger presence in world affairs, not through militaristic means, but through peaceful measures like international trade and economic development. All the people who hold tremendous influence in the politics and economy of Japan were born before the war, so naturally they want to regain the glory of pre-war Japan. The very idea that we can win next time if we research the new bomb that defeated us is itself a spectre of the war. No, everyone already realised that. It was just that no one could speak out against the grandstanding elders they owed their gratitude towards. Soon, the old will wither away and the new generation will take control. Uncle Koizumi was, in a way, the last remaining pillar for the old generation. His death is a chance for the new generation to step in. The things they couldn't argue openly are now being discussed. They've pointed out that from the beginning, the Alphabet Project was created for the personal satisfaction of a small group of people, and it sucked money out of the treasury. And so, the new generation of politicians have taken over from the old. Therefore, everything the Alphabet Project was sponsoring will have to be re-reviewed. Of course, the Area Institute is one of those subsidiaries. We hope that you'll understand and respond amicably. I understand. We can't do research without our sponsors after all. We'll give you our full cooperation. Area responded appropriately, but he's obviously bewildered. The best equipment and staff are being provided to the Area Institute. In other words, our research requires a huge amount of money. For those with no interest in Higurashi syndrome, they probably won't be able to understand why that much money is being put into the research of disgusting parasites. If they're simply going to revise our budget, that would be fine. We were receiving more than enough money. That would naturally be adjusted. It hurts, but we can endure. That's what I thought. But if just enduring it was enough, it wouldn't be a 1 on the die. So even in that sense, this is definitely a roll of a die coming up as a 1. Anyway, the new board of directors was inaugurated back in April, and they've outlined their new policies for all projects. For more details, please look through the papers I'll be handing out. His papers were then passed around. He started to go over the details, but I read through quickly so I could learn about their stupid decisions first. The Area Institute has made great headway in uncovering the mystery of the Higurashi syndrome, as well as creating a cure for the disease. The board of directors is extremely pleased. We recognise this as due to the unceasing efforts of Director Irie and all the staff of the Area Institute. Thank you. Even while he received their congratulations, a tense atmosphere surrounded me and Irie. It's customary to start the conversation in the opposite way you're planning to take it before delving into your main point to convey. I'm gonna sneeze. If the main issue is something good, then start with something bad, or vice versa. The Area Institute had 2 main intentions. One was to study the disease and hopefully find a cure. The other was to research the possibility of utilising the disease for military applications. The new board of directors has decided to put a stop to the latter immediately. In this day and age, researching biological weapons is an Achilles heel for Japan. The Area Institute must cease all related research and destroy any results. I understand. I'll comply. Irie replied with that immediately. Irie was assertive about finding a cure, but was never even remotely interested in researching the disease's use for military purposes. So I'm sure he has no qualms about concurring with such demands. But I don't agree, because our research would be more limited if we're just trying to find a cure. To me, finding that cure is simply a byproduct of my larger goal of discovering everything about the syndrome. Also, regarding the Area Institute, we have decided to have you wrap up your work within the next 3 years. Your budget will decrease gradually as well. Oh, wait, please. We've only recently figured out anything about the syndrome, and there's more we have to learn in order to create a better cure. We're making progress, but I can't guarantee we'll come up with a complete cure within 3 years. It's the understanding of the board that the Area Institute has already completed enough research to develop a cure. The Area Institute has already completed the C117 vaccine and has a great deal of clinical data. So, okay, we've got 2 that we can go through after this. 2 fragments. No, it's not even close to being completed. It's still only a prototype, and we're far from being able to see a cure for all the villagers. Debating the end of our research at this stage can only be described as absolutely positively reckless. I'm surprised that Irie objected. Thanks to him, I didn't have to say anything. But if Irie hadn't objected, I'm sure I would have shrieked in protest. In other words, the Irie Institute is not yet capable of curing all the people who are infected or to fully eradicate the syndrome, is that correct? Yes. Of course, curing all the villagers and eradicating the syndrome would be possible in the future. That's our ultimate goal. But I need more time, and of course funding to do that. Our job is to investigate, find a practice that works, and establish it as a product. This isn't a job where you can follow a blueprint to create something with certainty in a set time frame, so we hope that you'll avoid following that misconception. I guess Irie speaks out when he needs to, and what he's saying is absolutely right. Research isn't something guaranteed to produce results with time and money. But I disagree with some of the things he said. He's objecting about the time and the money, but he's basically agreeing to limit our research only towards finding a cure for Higurashi syndrome. That won't do. We won't unravel any mysteries that way. At that rate, the discovery of the Higurashi syndrome won't be recognised as my grandfather's great achievement. I see. I think you see your point. Our main purpose here is to dispose of the fact that this research was conducted for military purposes, so we must forever hide the fact that research was conducted on the strange disease called Higurashi syndrome, as well as hide its existence. If you can eradicate the disease without anyone ever learning about it, then we will give you the time and funding you require. But we'll discuss more about that later. Is that acceptable? Yes, I have no problem with that. Then please submit a plan and a budget proposal for eradicating the syndrome in secrecy. We'll do our best on our part to approve your proposal. Thank you. I'll work on it immediately. Please don't misunderstand that it's our intention to halt that research immediately. We want to see the best possible outcome for your work. Please understand that. Yeah, of course, I understand. While I was listening to the conversation, I was struck dumbfounded with something they said. Eradicating the syndrome is in secrecy. In other words, it would have to be as though Higurashi syndrome never existed. So my grandfather's name will never be revered by anyone. Revered. The sound of rustling papers and hushed proceedings filled the meeting room, but I only heard the ticking clock as I clutched my sweating palms. Aha! She's not happy. She wouldn't be. Okay. So, I think what we'll go for next... That's another page done, by the way, page 4. 2 and 1, so let's try and clear page 3, I guess. Death of Koizumi, that's definitely one. Completion of the medicine, I think they both are, so I think we're gonna have to do these 2 next. So, disappointment, Death of Koizumi. Maybe we should wrap up for now. I don't think you're in the mood today. That's not true. Sorry if I gave you that impression. Takano-san has been looking through the viewfinder, but I haven't seen her push the shutter at all. While she came along, I don't think she's in the mood for bird watching. Takano-san has been depressed ever since the announcement of the new policies at the board meeting the other day. That's understandable. The Area Institute was created by her in the first place. It was created so that she can devote her life to researching Higurashi syndrome. For all that to be tossed aside while being asked to wrap up work within a few years, of course she's depressed. Besides, she can't even fully spend the rest of the time left on research. The funding was being cut in stages, and by the end, they'll barely be able to finish closing up, let alone research anything. I heard that she's the granddaughter of the late Dr. Takano. Her determination to finish her grandfather's research is what kept her going till today. Since everything has been going so smoothly until recently, the sudden change in the wind's direction must have been a total shock. The shift in people pulling the strings must be pretty serious. The board of directors was completely changed out, and she heard that people and projects influenced by the Koizumi faction were being restructured to set an example. The wind's new direction seems likely to remain for a long time. It's highly unlikely that the Koizumi faction will come back into power, so no matter what we say, it's almost impossible to expect the same kind of support from them. Isn't there something we can do? Takano-san muttered. Unfortunately, there isn't. There's nothing anybody can do. At first, the board talked about halting this research immediately, but after lots of convincing, they finally agreed to make it a gradual suspension over a few years. The people who helped us when the Erie Institute was first created are the ones who managed that. I see. Well, it looks like the worst case scenario is actually somebody else's hard-earned victory, huh? 3 years was the best they could do. I tried too, you know. I used your data to try and explain to the board how important that research is. Only 3 more years, huh? Maybe Takano-san doesn't understand how hard I tried to convince them. Because what she just said tells me the length of time left really doesn't matter to her. The important thing is that her research is being stopped. The fact is that I couldn't meet her expectations and made her feel disappointed. As a man, it kind of hurts. The best I can do at this point is route as much funding as possible towards research so that you can work to your heart's content for the few years we have left. Sorry, I can't do anything else. That's okay. If that's the best you can do, then I'm very happy. Her words hurt me. I wish she'd chosen different ones, but I think that would be asking too much from someone so heartbroken. I must be understanding of her pain at a time like this. Besides, I know how close she was to the deceased Koizumi-sensei. She even called him uncle. To her, his death is not just the start of a coup or a change in direction. She lost a person who was always looking after her. No matter how hard she pushed herself to act villainous, she wasn't supposed to be part of this world. She was just an ordinary woman. But she was intrigued by Hinamazawa syndrome, and she had to find help from someone who had more power than her to be able to continue research on it. The dark side of the world she should never have gotten involved in, extended its hands out to her. She was left all by herself in that world, and she's still trying to put on a brave face. I'm sure Takano-san thinks that I'm unreliable. Realistically, I'm not the kind of person who can meet her expectations, nor do I have the power to. The least I can do for her is stay sincere and remain her ally until the very end. Since she had so much room to act, it's harder for her to determine what actions to take when she's cornered. I wanted to believe she wouldn't, but I'm concerned that she might do something drastic eventually. I hope I can be of help to her in that very final moment before she makes her move. But I can't even gain enough trust from her to do that. How pitiful and pathetic. Of course, part of it is, as a man, I want her to rely on me. But that's not really it. She's been abandoned in this world, and is all alone, so someone has to be her ally. And if I'm the only one who knows about that, then being her ally is my job. I know her too well, so I know that she'll never ask for help. Even if she says it's unnecessary, someone has to be with her. I know that. I don't really think I'm suited for that job. I'm sure that there are many reliable people out there who are more appropriate for the position than me. But I can't let her be alone until that person appears. Takano-san, I know I'm pathetic and unreliable. What's this all of a sudden? What is it, Juro-san? I think I can be of help to you, so... Thank you. But I don't believe that talking to people helps you feel better. Sorry. Though I'm happy to hear that you're concerned. I really am. Okay, that's fine. I'll always be on your side. Please believe that, okay? Of course I will. If you think of a good idea to convince the board, please let me know, okay? Sure. I'll do my best. Why is it? I know she's such a strong person, and there's nothing someone like me can do for her. But somehow I feel she needs help and support right now. She looks as tough as ever, but only I, who has been taking pictures of her all this time, can tell. A viewfinder, after all, is also a window to look into someone's heart. But if I say something like that, she'll tease me again, so I won't. Anyway, I never thought she needed support more strongly than I do right now. Okay. How much he looks up to her and, well, loves her, but it seems kinda nice. So, okay. We're gonna cut things off here. This has been Greeny XI. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a little bit. When we keep on going, you never know how it's going to go with these fragments and stuff like that, but we'll keep on going. Thanks again for watching, folks. See you again in a bit.